Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle.
It started with me and the person who we can't mention his name anymore because he smelled so badly we had to eat him in the end. So we don't talk about him.
Is this Paul?
This is Paul. This is the ex-member of the group.
He had a very erratic style of cycling.
Did you kick him out of the group?
No, it just got to the stage where irreconcilable differences, musical differences. I mean, he had an interesting cycling style which meant he always had to be in the front, so he would always overtake you, and having achieved that he would then stop.
Slow down to a very slow where we'd all virtually pile into the back of him.
Jaws was never my scene and I don't like Star Wars. Say Rose, I say Royce, say God, give me a choice. Say Lord, I say Christ.
Down a large hill of which there was a right hand turn at the bottom, which he failed to make, and just went straight on into the house opposite.
Hit the wall.
Scraped him off it.
Nearly ended up in the living room with this elderly couple who sort of didn't know what quite hit their house, and sort of came out and saw this cyclist sprawled up against the wall.
So everyone gathered round him to see what was going on, and I, because I was in charge of first aid, kind of took Martin to one side, brushed him off, and to make sure he was okay. Now you'd think everybody else would be round him just to make sure he was okay, because he could have been quite seriously hurt, but no, they were more interested in how his bike was. So there's me looking after Martin, everybody else is gathered around his bike, making sure his wheels were straight and that he hadn't damaged any other part of his frame. And that kind of sums it up really. Sometimes the bike itself, the hardware is as interesting as the people.
And the other classic one was when we were on the South Downs ride, and we were coming down a very steep, chalky, wet descent, and he didn't really recognise that there was a green slime on the chalk on the descent, and he got it completely wrong and lost the front wheel.
I mean, I was in the front at that point, and I was going very gingerly, and Martin just came storming past me, and I thought, he's very good. And I thought, no, he's not. He's actually just broken his shoulder.
Bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like.
We're all in blue. Now, if you notice, there's one thing about everybody here. Shorts, 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 shorts. Oh no, he's always in lycra. Dave's in lycra. Right? Oh, I'm me, I'm in lycra. So I'm Richard. Richard is always in a bicycle outfit.
Yeah. Stayed in a hotel with a large group of motorcycle enthusiasts who outnumbered us about 3 to 1, but apparently our bar bill outbeat theirs 2 to 1. The first place we stayed was run by this elderly lady whose wig kept slipping. And Dave got the real benefit of that because his room, the shower was actually, he was told not to use the shower because the electrical wires were hanging out of it. So he was told to use the shower in the room next door, which he did, and he was just all scrubbed and soaked when the lady was then showing some other guests around that room, which was an interesting moment for him. And then in the middle of the night that hotel got raided by the police for some other goings on from another group who was staying there. Our dear friend Dave, who isn't here this morning, always comes along to these events because he likes the social camaraderie, he loves the beer afterwards, he absolutely hates the cycling. It's extraordinary, he's just racked with fear the whole day. I removed the seat tube from his bike and inserted a small metal object which would rattle the whole time. Now, Ian's not somebody who takes a rattle lightly on his bike. He will always stop and wonder quite what's going on. And he spent the morning stopping, adjusting things, playing while the rest of us, who all apart from Tibor were in on the joke, were trying to keep a straight face. And it ended up at lunchtime. We was all sitting in a restaurant with a large plate glass window when Ian had recruited Tibor to look at his bike for him. And Tibor began to work out what was going on and was lifting up the frame and shaking it. Then he turned the bike upside down and out popped this thing, which they're all looking at, and then spent the next half an hour working which part of the bike could this part have fallen off from before it slowly dawned on them.
And on the other side of the plate glass window there was about 6 or 7 people.
Absolutely unable to breathe.
Bicycle races are coming your way, so forget all your duties on there.
I think they are particularly amused by the lycra and the choice of clothing that some people tend to wear. I have to admit, I tend to try and avoid that because I just don't like the thought that people are taking the piss out of me because I'm dressed in this really tight stuff that kind of shows all the bulges of middle age spread. So I tend to try and avoid that if I can.